Welcome to the weekly Loft Real Estate Update.
Yeah.
It like doesn't. The yeah doesn't sound like you. Like so, it's just like yeah.
All right, you ready? Here we go.
Let's do it.
I need Pat to say yeah at the end of all of my sentences.
Pat, we just have Pat as like the ad lib guy.
That would be perfect.
In the back of every.
I invited
podcast.
Pat to this podcast.
Did you?
I've invited him to every podcast.
I don't know.
It's like he's going to start showing up on these more. He's going to be more regular.
Yeah,
I love Pat as a secondary. So we got a few things on tap, but I want to introduce people to you. You're an agent on the team. Your name's Josh Brenneman. You look like you're out of an 80s Batman flick sometimes when I look at you, but tell the people about who you are, dude. You're a cool guy.
I'm straight out of an 80s Batman flick.
Hell yeah.
Just hopped out of the time machine. I'm also currently working on a book. It is the effects of, we talked about my last book, that's on a shorter video that we did. I've got a new project I'm working on. It's the effect of amphetamines on sloths, just to kind of see if we can speed that up at all.
I would love if that was a real conversation we were having.
It might be one day.
One day.
One day.
Do you love sloths?
Oh, one of my favorite animals. Absolutely.
Why?
There's a sense of calm, I think, you get. And no, this is so serious. I think it's like...
Can we pull up sloths swimming? Because I think it's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, yes. No, and I do...
didn't expect you to get that excited.
You know what really gets me going? The videos, they'll just be in the middle of streets in like Brazil, right? Or like South America, and people will have to pick them up because they can't be in the middle of the street. And they're just... You just pick them up and they're just like...
There's never a care in the world.
No, not at all. They're adorable.
Would you be cool though if your life was like that though, living at 2 miles an hour? Look at these guys. Look at these guys just swimming.
Oh my.
That's some blue water. That's some blue water though.
That's beautiful water.
Where is this? Swimming sloth searches for mate. Isn't that always what animals are doing?
It's not going to be in the water, buddy. You're going, looking for the wrong mate.
He's looking for his sloth female friend. You can turn it up a little bit if you want. I love that background music. It makes it much more dramatic.
They must be very buoyant.
Buoyant? Oh yeah, like got a lot of air in him?
I mean, he's barely swimming.
What do you say, Sean? Oh man. Oh, there he goes. The dramatic claw.
The music of,
no.
there's just such a sense
Oh wait,
of
is that that
calm.
guy?
It's Attenborough.
Is that guy talking in the background?
Attenborough. Yeah.
Oh, such a good voice.
He's
Legendary.
amazing.
But he's so old. He's going to be gone soon.
I know.
We're not going to have him forever.
We've got Snoop Dogg to take his place, and he's doing a great job. You seen those videos?
Snoop Dogg animal documentaries?
You've never seen that?
No.
He commentates animal videos. It's absolutely incredible.
We need this. Yeah,
It's
that's all right.
absolutely incredible.
I have a feeling this is going to be a video-heavy podcast. For those listening on Spotify, this could be 2 years down the road. We did say something beforehand. We had a little variety pack of Airheads. I've always been curious. I think it's been widely believed that the mystery flavor has always been cherry.
Yeah.
So we have a cherry and a mystery
lazy on the
flavor,
Airheads
which is super
part,
lazy.
honestly.
But we have a cherry and a white mystery, and I want to try both eventually. I'm actually going to open them now.
Now, I'm of the belief that the Dum-Dums do a similar
Dum-Dums?
strategy. Yeah, the little lollipops, Dum-Dums, right?
Oh.
I think the mysteries are all the same as well.
That's fair. Oh, yeah. I think in any candy, the mystery almost is never a variety of flavors, which sucks. All right, I'm about to try this real quick. You have green. That's great.
It's good green.
All right.
It's like a color that should not ever actually be consumed, but
I'm actually going to just say this doesn't taste like cherry. It tastes like a dump. Doesn't taste very good at all.
I was just trying to compare mine to watermelon, and we're far off. Maybe like a little bit of brine, watermelon brine.
I hate swallowing this. I'm going to take a smaller bite on this one.
It gets sandy.
It does. It's just pure sugar.
Yeah. Oh, the things we consume when you really think about it.
This
It's a different question.
this is the same thing.
It's the same?
These are the same.
Okay, let me...
Yeah. Bite up the other butts. Yeah. Do your thing.
Oh, no,
Those are
I'm
the
just
same.
going to get your spit all over.
What do airheads do to your body? Airheads are a sticky treat that can damage your teeth. That said, they are low in calories and sugars. What?
What is
Making
it
them
then?
a healthier option, but give that back. But keep in mind, this is the mini version. So if you have a sweet tooth, having one of these may not cause much harm and can satisfy that craving. Oh, so having one of the tiny ones. This is about 5 of the tiny ones. So
low in sugar.
Low in sugar, that did strike me. So what is it high in? Because it's definitely sweet. It's got 11 grams of sugar. What is it? That's a ton. That
11 grams of sugar is...
Google wants us fat.
It's more than
Google
should
wants
fit
us
in
fat.
Something this size. Absolutely.
They just tell us stuff. Oh, no, do that, man. You're good.
Google's in on it.
Of course they're in on it. Oh, 11 grams of sugar, I'm out. 2.5 teaspoons.
The fact
so
that
imagine
this is 60 calories
you take a
is pretty
teaspoon
interesting.
and just go, and then, like that would be crazy.
You know, I have a problem with, I'm not really a big sweets guy, but one thing that I do have a serious problem with is dark chocolate.
Really?
And I'll get the little morsels, I guess.
Morsels?
Like, like the kisses. Yeah, let's get some Snoop. Yeah, hit us with some Snoop Dogg narrating because it's muted.
It's a lizard crawling out. A peak game. Oh no!
Get out of there.
Oh my God! Where is this?
It's terrifying that places like that even exist.
I hate this. Is this in Milford? He's using all his back feet. Oh, no! Oh wait, no! Are we allowed to show this? Oh man! Yes, sir!
How does that even happen?
Look at all the snakes! This is this is a bad nightmare. This is awful. This is war zone.
Seriously, like what?
My goodness! Look at that snake climbing up rocks to get this man.
Like literal hell on earth.
Are there more snakes up there? Jeez.
He's just
Jimmy
fantastic.
Kimmel. Okay, so that's a Jimmy Kimmel bit. Snoop Dogg's been just doing a lot of side quests. You saw the
Oh yeah.
you saw the one where he did getting rid of smoke.
See, and I was just gonna say that. I think I've seen a lot of interesting like branding attempts because it was supposed to be for like some movie or some company. He was doing.
No. Watch. We keep that in a separate tab. Yeah, we just gotta have this
we'll
up.
do that.
Look up giving up smoke, Snoop. So here's what he did. Earlier in the week, that week, he put out a tweet. You saw it. He said, "I'm giving up smoke."
Yeah.
All right, that went viral, right? Then he puts out this ad about 4 days later. Just goes out as
But wasn't it for some sort of marketing thing?
100% it was for marketing, but look at it. Check it out. Oh, no, you had the right one. Oh, okay. My gosh.
Yeah.
I hate her voice over it.
Yeah. What is that?
It's absolutely his whole thing. This is such a great ad because everyone's still watching all up until this moment. Lights come up, everything looks all pretty, no smoke, fire. That's such a great ad. And then they don't, like, their pitch is only like 2 or 3 seconds of it. And then look at him.
Obviously high.
That's a great ad.
Okay. I never saw the finished
You throw
product.
Snoop $250, probably $250. I don't know what the cost of that for Snoop is. It may be a mil. I don't know. To shoot an ad and put out a tweet. I don't know. What's that cost? I don't know, but they profited off of that because that made me want to get that.
Well, you're immediately a nationwide, if not worldwide, brand just because of the attachment to that.
So can we get into something we talk about a lot?
Yes.
And Sean, we talk about this a ton too. So this is definitely going to be a 3-way conversation. AI.
Yeah.
How scared are you of you? Good first question.
I'm scared of myself. Most
Same.
mornings it takes a while just to get past that.
Damn, dude. We have to talk about that.
It's like
I love you, man.
Yeah, thank you. We'll get back to that. It's good. It's constructive. I get up in the morning. It's like like Sully from Monsters Inc. He'd practice his scares. He'd be in the mirror and it'd be one of those things. I'd get myself pumped up. You know
If you're actually doing that, if you're actually doing that, please send me a video.
Okay. I will, dude.
Here's how I'm gonna get the listings.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, literally.
I just imagine your door knocking. So they just answered, no one's there. You just Loft.
With the Ring cameras now, it's nice because you can really take advantage of it.
Oh no, everyone's home with the Ring doorbell.
Yeah. Leave a nice.
What
message.
the best Shark Tank product I think to date was the Ring doorbell, and they completely sold I think to Amazon.
No way. Well,
Sold to some. They sold majority stake to somebody, but yeah, I think they're the biggest that ever sold on Shark Tank. Regardless, AI.
Yeah.
How scared or what are your feelings towards the future AI? And I want to set up that question a little bit with why I fear it a bit.
Yeah.
Is when we say future, we're truly talking about what we're living through right now.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, I think you're living with your head in the sand if you think in the next 3 to 5 years, our entire technological experience is going to be different. How we communicate is going to be something that's foreign to us today.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Qdoba. And this right here, this phone that we hold, I really feel that 3 to 5 year window, this isn't how we're operating anymore with this handheld device anymore.
Prehistoric.
Yeah, it's going to feel, So the speed of it is what scares me. That's where I lose a little sleep.
I think I've never really had the sentiment of being scared of the technology before. And I understand a lot of the concerns that people bring up. And, Joe Rogan loves to talk about it's going to take over the world. And he has people come on and they say it's going to be sentient. Yeah. And so sentient, excuse me. And maybe it's selfish thinking, but I don't genuinely believe that the world is going to fall to the sentient power of AI robot within my lifetime.
No,
right?
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm not saying it's not a possibility, but
it could be.
It could be some point down the road.
Could be exciting.
We'll see. We don't know. It's unprecedented grounds, right? But I think most importantly to me, I'm just excited to see what the difference is. I love like Black Mirror, for example, and like I've always since the episodes come out. You watch Black Mirror?
Yeah, I love watching it. I love enjoying it for entertainment. I don't love the concept of it happening. It's called Black Mirror for a reason.
Some of it's terrifying.
Yeah.
But some of the technology that they have so they have the implanted essentially
Elon Musk thing.
So yeah. So and they can kind of scroll with their fingers, and it's all like heads up display.
It's AR, it's augmented reality, which is right around the corner. It's already being done in the Apple headset. Me and Sean, we were just talking about this when that Apple headset is put into like Ray-Bans, and you can just walk around looking like a normal person in your reading glasses, and you're getting that heads-up display in real time.
Well, remember they tried to do that a while ago?
Google Glass.
The Google Glass.
It was too ahead of its time, dude. I've talked about that.
Yeah.
That technology didn't just disappear and go into a warehouse. And that's a great lead up to this is Google's like actual jump into the AI world, and this is now their what's shown to be better than ChatGPT. They called it Bard. But now they renamed it Gemini.
So, because we spend a lot of time on ChatGPT within the office. And
absolutely. It's a fantastic tool. Yeah, absolutely. So this is now the next level. It's called Gemini. Sundar Pichai. There's a variation of this where there's no talking.
So this one's not going to be different softwares for...
Yeah, can we back out of this one? This is just them talking about it. There's a version... go to the capabilities of multi-mode, top right there.
So this is one software that can do
so this is a software
imaging.
Exactly. It can show... You can turn on the camera and... So just for anyone listening, it's got a camera showing a guy drawing on a postcard.
Like a little duck.
And the AI is picking up exactly what it is.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he had squiggly lines and it knows it's water. Now he's painting it blue with a crayon. He's not even finished drawing it blue. What the quack? Wow. What?
See, and
That's crazy.
pause it real quick. When that's like,
Yeah,
you could 5 years ago, you showed somebody this. They'd be like, "That's a sentient."
the brain's
AI.
gonna melt.
They'd be like, "That's sentient. That's going to take over the world." But now we see this, and we're like, "Wow, that's amazing."
But just
Like,
to your
it's
point
smart.
earlier, I mean, so that should be fear. Now, when I say I'm afraid of it, I will admit I'm afraid of what's going to come from it. I don't know. If you want to turn it down just a little bit and let it run, we can talk over it a little bit too. The fear for me is the jobs.
Jobs.
There are
is gonna be huge.
so
Yeah.
many people, like, and it's not
That's the
that
reality of it.
everyone's going to be unemployed, but it's like the job of 10 is going to get brought down to the job of two or one that really have the AI as a partner within their job or responsibility on lock. They're showing something right now. He literally is making a game. He's doing 3-card money with like
Yeah.
the cup and balls thing.
Yeah. Left.
Yeah, I mean,
Bang.
it's just like, and
Still
if you
can't
sat
beat me.
there, now he's playing rock, paper, scissors with it. These are things that if you programmed something to do it, it's not impressive. But the fact that it's doing it real time,
Yeah.
adapting to what you're doing, it has a little bit of flair and humor to it. It doesn't even sound super robotic. Imagine when this type of camera is on your Google heads-up display in your house, and when you're walking up to the door, it recognizes if it's you or not, and that's how it sets up the lights in the house, turns on your music, gets your TV set, or doesn't unlock at all because, like, who the heck are you?
Yeah.
You're sitting in front of your Google device inside, and you're like, hey, Google, I got 4 friends coming over this week. We're really looking for dinner reservations, preferring sushi, but remember that Sarah, she can't do meat, so we're looking for vegan options. It's got to be past 5:30, and find some place where we can catch a movie after. And then it's going to be like, okay, cool, yeah, I'm going to look at that. What movie are you
Straight
thinking?
out of Black Mirror.
Yeah, it's going to detail all. It's going to be like having a personal assistant in your house
But then to that point when we're
that runs
using-
your house.
you know, you can't. I think once you get, and we're getting into the specifics of something like that now, but like once you get to that point of facial recognition, stuff like that, like you're going to need implants at that point, right? Because
No, why would you
facial
need an
recognition
implant?
is something that can easily be duped, especially as we get further into the future.
It can be duped, but we just watched this Bard, Gemini, which, to be very clear, I'm not saying this is what's going to run that type of stuff, but
yeah.
you look at the decisions and the critical thinking that's coming with Gemini, and if you watch any demo online, it's just like, it's baffling. See, it's just a guy doing a very generic movement. Can you
See, it's not perfect.
Sean, do you want to bring up the new Google, or not Google AI? There's an AI video platform. Yeah, perfect.
Oh, these are great. The year-old one is insane.
I mean, it didn't really show any of the. It showed one little piece of it. But Sora, yeah, this is now going to be something through OpenAI, which runs ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Typing in something, and literally you get 4K quality realism. Oh my God, this is AI.
So, this stuff is insane. And
But think of the grandmas that are going to get tricked.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Like the millennials. This is now going to turn the millennials into what we view as boomers. And now Gen Z is going to be like, oh.
These videos are nuts. Yeah.
Look at that.
It's almost perfect. Like it's
So now we're talking about AI-generated movies?
Yeah. Which is crazy to think about. So, you know, a lot of those actors and screenwriters and stuff like that, those unions, I mean.
Direct this like this director.
Exactly.
Utilize more of this type of color grading.
Or even for
Gaming. Oh, my God, yeah. Just being able to get your B-roll for stuff.
But talk about lessening.
Yep, she just said it right there. How many jobs could be lost? Is that going to, like, I don't know if I can even dive deep into the thought process enough to know how.
This is really cool.
During
I
the
saw
gold
that.
rush.
Yeah.
Oh,
completely
it even made
generated.
it look old. Wow.
There's a way that like history could be
Jeez.
rewritten.
Oh, my God.
Well, I mean, yeah, that just falls back on
Look at
education
that.
at that point, right?
You couldn't tell me that wasn't shot with a drone in 1921. I'm not sure how they would have shot it, but pirate ships in coffee.
That one's really cool. I saw that.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that graphic design, just look at a young man in his 20s sitting on a piece of cloud in the sky reading a book. Yeah. Like that right there would have been a month's worth of somebody's digital job that just got done in moments. So how do we unpack the job force shift that's going to happen with that? Because, of course, when they invented the tractor 80 years ago, people were saying, oh, my God, you're getting rid of jobs. When we went through the Industrial Revolution, which which coincidentally, because there's a lot of people that believe we work off like 80-year approximate cycles in this world. About 80-ish years ago, we're going through the Industrial Revolution. Yeah. And now we're seemingly going through what we saw as the beginning of the 2000s as a technological revolution. But I mean now, I mean the speed. It is not slowing down. Everything's speeding up. And I think people get worried because we're already here. We don't really now know what 5 years from now looks like. Geez, what's 20 years from now look like? And is it even a recognizable world if AI is a part of it like this?
Well, like you said, I don't think a technological jump like this is unprecedented. We've done it before.
What do you mean?
Well, like you said, with the tractor, you know, there's a point where everything like that got done by hand.
But that was industrial. That was farming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, technological in a sense, but
now we're able to convince grandma that there has been a, mass genocide in Indiana just because I told ChatGPT to make a video about it.
Yeah.
I was looking at the history, and one specific part I just want to show you guys. Google software engineer Blake Lemon was fired for revealing secrets of Llama and claiming it was
I remember that.
Yep. The Godfather, wasn't he?
Well, and that's the interesting thing is that
DeepMind unveiled alpha for discovering novel, efficient, and probably correct algorithms that made him think it was sentient. Wow. Wow, didn't know was. And then I think there was another guy
they used
who
AI
quit.
to catch AI.
They used AI to catch
It's
AI.
interesting.
That's why.
But what's another point? I forget who made it originally, but I've heard it a few times that like anything that we're seeing now has been behind the scenes for at least 5, 8, maybe 10 years, right?
Maybe.
It's been in development. The government probably has it, or private industry has something well more advanced than this right now. Yeah. So if there was something that was going to, take over, it wouldn't be from the general public's grasp. It would be from something behind the scenes.
But a lot of this stuff, but a lot of this stuff though is being released by now. Here's where I think that's maybe a little wrong. Now, I think it's right up until maybe where we're living.
Okay.
Sean, can you look up Google, the godfather of AI? He was working on the Google AI project and he quit because he basically for the same reason.
Is this the guy, the OpenAI guy that left and then came back? I know, different company.
Basically, he left, to my understanding, the AI Google project. Spurred by an academic colleague who convinced him to speak out about this. It's quite conceivable that humanity is a passing phase in the evolution of intelligence. What a terrifying sentence that is.
That's like
And this is the guy that basically created this project. He now backs out of it, speaking on its risks. It's quite conceivable that humanity is a passing phase in the evolution of intelligence.
Well, it's a lot of interesting to get into that because, it's on the Jerry conversations a lot, but talk about us biologically, specifically biologically, may not be the end-all, be-all for intelligence, right?
What do you mean?
As far as a biological human, right?
Being behind all thoughts and all ideas.
It's not going to be the forever thing,
sure,
right?
yeah, I think that's clear from what we're looking at.
Yeah, so, and the conversation is, do we evolve into a hybrid type of intelligent, technological, biological thing, or do we just completely get surpassed by this and then, an intelligent AI or some sort of technology takes over our space? There's a lot of theories about that. There's also theories that, aliens are intelligent, technological / biological. So, like, for example, the Greys, they're saying they're like almost like human robots.
You're going deep into this.
Right?
Good Lord.
So they're like the servant class of like different alien life beings. So, and I do want to get into a couple other interesting things along those.
Yeah, you took a left turn on me with aliens, but
but that's a theory of the aliens that are quote unquote allegedly visiting us, right?
Do you believe in aliens?
I like the idea of it.
Sean, do you believe in aliens? Why? It's a huge reason. That's fair.
Yeah.
But does that mean they're visiting us?
No, here's my thing too. I've also heard a theory that it's like they're not aliens, but they're like yes, they're aliens.
Interdimensional. Yeah. I like the theory.
Like
That it's more time than location?
Strip.
Okay, that's more like they're... Okay. I say that like I understand what you're saying, but I hear you.
Same place, different plane of existence is essentially the theory.
Still, I'd sell houses. Yeah, that's about all I got there.
We should deep dive into this. We should do an aliens podcast. That'd be great.
I mean, we're sitting right here talking about it, doing a podcast. So, I mean, but what are you saying you think aliens are? You're thinking that they're...
I wouldn't put my stake in any specific theory. I like the interdimensional theory just because it's provenly unproven, I guess.
Provenly unproven?
Provenly unproven. Evidently unproven, maybe. But, like, there's a way the theoretical math, a theoretical science says there can be different levels of existence. There can be different planes of dimension, right? We have no proof of it, but there's
yeah, but just because we
evidence.
can't prove it wrong doesn't mean it's right. Right?
There's a lot of people that, I don't want to get into this, but there's a lot of people that put their faith in things on the same parallel as that, right?
To an extent, but that they would call that faith, not science. And in the world of science, when you're trying to prove something, I would think that you're looking. I don't know who a man was speaking though.
So there's this theory, I forget who the author is, and by no means is this scientific at all. But essentially with, here we go, yeah.
Podcast within a podcast? Jeez. Okay, so we can stop that here.
So that's saying
that's saying AI sentience becomes its own race, and then time travels
destroys the world.
That's insane.
Well, that's like the.
So how long you been selling homes for, man?
No. Real quick though, did you get the theory? Did you see the theory recently where they're doing tests of the soil on Mars, and there's like high levels of, I forget what the compound is.
Something that is in atomic bombs.
Yes.
Nuclear reacting. Yeah. But that can't.
Which is just fun.
It's fun, but it's not to say that can't naturally exist on that planet, such as Mercury has things I'm sure that we don't have. And
Well, without an atmosphere, Mars probably has the radiation from the sun of a nuclear bomb at
Could.
all times.
Yeah.
Right? So there's all
could have been a
that.
solar flare that hit them instead of us.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean,
I understand.
yeah, it's fun to think about. But honestly, all this stuff, when you get into the theory, it's fun. It's cool to have conversation about, and we should have a full. I need to know more about it. I need to delve deeper into it to have a legitimate conversation.
I would love
on
to
it.
do a paranormal, supernatural kind of episode. We should do one.
I'm meeting somebody on Friday. I won't disclose yet, but I'm meeting somebody on Friday who does not interdimensional, paranormal stuff. And the interdimensional hypothesis, all right, is a proposal that unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, sightings are the result of experiencing other dimensions that coexist separately alongside of our own. In contrast with either the extraterrestrial hypothesis that suggests UFO sightings are caused by visitations from outside the Earth, or psychosocial hypothesis that argues UFO sightings are the best explained as either psychological or social phenomenon within it. So breaking that down, my immediate argument is if this is our universes or timelines interweaving and we're seeing things that aren't within our timeline, why is the only thing we're seeing little pills flying around in the air at weird dimensions and speeds? I mean, wouldn't we see someone weird walking around like a lizard walking around at Walmart? Like, because I feel we'd see more than just some person in Arizona with a very crummy, pixely video of a pill behind a cloud, and you're just like, okay.
There are people that see Bigfoot. There are people that see goblins.
And people that see Bigfoot are not people that I'm going to take any advice from
but hold
for
on.
anything.
Here's the thing, though.
I see the person who believes in Bigfoot, and I immediately know this person's not advising me on anything in my life.
No, this is going to segue us right into my next question perfectly. But here's the thing: is that so there's this universe, it's a theory called the Goblin Universe.
I want to stop you.
Yeah.
Goblin University.
Goblin Universe.
God, we're going deeper. Jeez.
Here we go.
Anybody listening, I'm trying to stop this. Can we please look up the best footage ever of Bigfoot? Like, give me the best possible one. Goblin University. Nope. Sean's on that. Give me Goblin University.
Back a little.
What is that?
Guy here. Oh, Zins.
Let me try one.
You go for it?
I've never. So I say I never. I'll give you.
These are the light. This
Good,
is like
light
the
one?
lightest version you can get.
All right.
I was gonna say this is the one. This is fake. Proven to be fake.
Look at that guy standing.
Proven to be fake. But it's amazing.
Bigfoot shows face on trail cam at crime scene and destroys area with tree limbs.
So this is an incredible video. They proved it was like somebody with like some sort of, because he just leaves and then the tree starts swinging. Someone's got like a backhoe back there.
Oh.
But very compelling footage.
Whoa. So somebody's behind it with a backhoe.
Yeah, hold on. It's
Pulling
not
the-
over yet.
Loch Ness Monster's been real quiet since this came out. Oh my God, he's just tossing trees around.
Or maybe it wasn't machinery, but they proved it was like this part. They proved this was like.
Whoa.
But how cool if the right?
All right.
Right?
Everything I just said shifted a little bit.
Right?
That is some damn good evidence.
This guy.
All right. Can we find out if anybody... Yeah. What did you add to this video, sir? This
guy's in on
Please
it.
watch that one. Please watch the middle
Yeah,
one.
I
Please
need
watch
to
the
see
middle
it.
one.
So the theory of the Goblin
New
Universe.
Jersey State Park. I'm sorry. We have to pause Goblin University. New Jersey State Park Police Dash Cam caught a Bigfoot on video part 2.
Did you know New Jersey is the highest bear population in the country?
What?
Mm-hmm.
I knew PA had a lot of black bears. Oh, no,
He's a fishing bowl. Why'd they turn the lights on? You're under arrest, sir.
Maybe you can't fish that late. Beer me Bigfoot. Yeah, you
It's
can post
TikTok.
10-minute videos on TikTok.
Well, because attention spans. Okay, I'll skip Goblin Universe. We'll get back to that on our full one.
No, we're here. Goblin
Get back-
Universe.
Okay. Well, essentially, the theory is that all of these things, Nessie, Bigfoot, aliens, they're all of the same energy source, right? So there's this thing called a tulpa. Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to get too crazy with this, but a tulpa is essentially what they call an energy fueled. Pull up tulpa, TULPA. it's you create something with your mind, right? So essentially, you can say Santa Claus, Slenderman, right? Became a real thing because it was a creepypasta that people bought into, and then it ended up being, this.
Bless you.
Bless you, bless you. It ended up being the motivation of murders. So that's as real as a thing that you can get, right? Tulpa is a concept originally from Tibetan Buddhism and found in later traditions of mysticism, paranormal of the materialized being or thought form. So thought form, energy being, essentially. So something you can create with your thought energy, right?
So like manifestation,
Yes.
kind of,
Pretty much.
is in the same sentence as it. Okay.
And you can't say now that Santa Claus or Nessie or Slenderman are not real things in this world now. They are. They're real ideas, right? I'm not saying they're physically. You see, look, Slenderman right there. So now the thought behind it is, so much energy and so much thought has gone into these things that they are now manifesting themselves, whether it is
Okay.
parapsychological or maybe, just like a hallucination type of thing. But that's kind of the background of that. But so getting into that, I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
So we got into cryptids, and it's something I did want to cover on this podcast. So with the cryptid world, right? Delaware is a little bit forgotten. We don't really have our own fun animal, right? Our own creation.
We're close to the Jersey Devil.
Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
Right? West Virginia is Mothman, I believe.
The worst one.
Worst one.
One of
It
the
really
worst ones of all of them.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one to put any belief into. And if you look up the pictures and the videos of it, it's just like
incredible.
a man with moth wings.
Yeah.
It's just
big
like
red eyes.
Yeah.
Have you seen the statue?
Really bad. Yeah, they love this guy.
Oh, well, it's the main source of it's like Roswell. It's like Roswell, it's the main source of income down
The
there.
Jersey Devil has a little, because there's some videos I've seen where I was a kid at least, and I was like, ooh.
Well, it's like Chupacabra, essentially, right?
Yeah. Just back in the day, see, it's tough now because like when I was looking at videos in 2008, right, and you see a video of a crazy guy with bat wings flying out of a tree, you're not thinking, oh, this is edited.
True.
Back now, it's just like, all right, you asked AI to make
Fake.
that.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's gonna change a lot of stuff too.
yeah, like exactly. How can I now trust anything? As real estate agents, right? What if I asked? Look at that guy. Is that a goat in the sky?
That's
Man
Jersey Devil.
claims to have photographed the winged. That's a goat in the sky. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a devil from Jersey. One man continues to stand behind his claim that he continues to stand behind, which means everyone's saying stop.
Stop.
The New Jersey Devil soaring through the sky, even though he said people have been calling him crazy. David Black, a resident of the Garden State, says he captured a winged animal on camera Monday evening while on his way home from work. Black told ABC News Monday when he saw what he believed to be a llama running around outside. As he got closer, he said he pulled out his camera and snapped a photo. Then suddenly, he said the creature sprouted wings and took flight from a golf course. Man, I've heard some people tell some stories from golf courses. Yeah. That ranks in the top 10 of the most unbelievable ones I've heard.
You can't use golf course in your evidence at all because you're immediately drunk.
You imagine you're having a bad round.
Whether you're golfing or not, you're just on a golf course. You're drunk.
Black said his heart was, hey, don't come at golf. Black said you love golf.
I do love
Black
I'm
said
not
his
coming
heart
at
was,
golf.
Sean's going to love golf too. Black said his heart was racing as he witnessed both a childlike wonder and deep-seated child nightmare while capturing the apparent black cryptid. The myth of the New Jersey Devil dates back to 1735. See, that's about the time, though, when you could say the wrong sentence and they're going to be like, are you a witch?
Yeah.
So that's a weird time for folklore. Also, we're not even a country at that point. This is Salem witch trials.
Yeah.
Wait, that's even earlier, 1700s.
Yeah.
Witch trials, right? 1800s, right?
Early 1800s.
Yeah, but not, yeah. Salem witch trial. Because I remember when hearing about the Salem witch trials, I'm like, man, that's like 3 generations away. 1692.
Oh,
never
wow.
mind.
Okay.
1692, 1693.
We're way
More
off.
than 200 people were accused of practicing witchcraft. In 1911, it stopped. Okay. Pardon some of the accused. That's probably when they started to think.
So they
man,
blamed
we
a
should
lot
stop
of that
doing
now
this.
on ergot.
Ergot?
You know what ergot is?
The root?
No.
What's that?
So ergot is a fungus or mold
Oh, fungus.
that grows on expired wheat.
Hmm.
So they were making make
Oh, it makes like a
bread.
mushroom-like material, right?
Yes, but it's very like violent. So you get like violently ill. You get like violent auditory and visual hallucinations.
Ooh,
People absolutely
possessions.
lose their mind, right?
Possessions.
But yes.
Ooh.
So
Schizophrenia.
they say a lot of that stuff, like the dancing diseases and stuff like that, are now being accredited to ergot. But it's also kind of like a swamp gas type of thing where they're like, oh, they're just blaming everything for ergot.
Anthony's Fire or Devil's Curse, convulsions, muscle spasms, vomiting, hallucinations, and a pain where the victim's limbs, fingers, toes, and nose were eaten up by the holy fire that blackened like charcoal, is characterized by ergot poisoning. What a description.
Sounds like witch.
Eaten up by the... They definitely were trying to figure out how they could make it sound like a witch.
Yeah, exactly.
It was blackened like the charcoal of the devil. Holy fire!
Straight from the hellhole.
They're like, man, she's sick. Maybe she ate something wrong, guys.
No, she's possessed by a demon.
But she's been hanging out in the bonds, eating
Yes.
from under the wheat piles.
Throw her in the lake, see if she floats or not.
Tie the concrete blocks to her feet. If she survives, shit. Isn't that the sickest thing? Can you bring that up? I
Oh
wanna
my
say
God, yeah.
If they, what I believe it was, is if she survives having a concrete block tied to her foot. I don't even know
Kill
if they
her.
had concrete. It might have been a big rock.
I think they just let him.
If
they
she
just put him out
dies,
there.
she wasn't a witch. If she doesn't die, she is.
Kill
What
her.
a terrible solution. She dies either way. It's awful. It's the worst punishment I've heard of other than having hot oil poured on you.
I'm glad we respect women now.
Have you never heard of that one, Sean? That was
Oh
like
my
one.
God, tarred and feathered.
The Salem witch trials are considered a defining example of the intolerance and injustice in American history. More than 200 people were accused of practicing witchcraft. They did make it sound like it was a little bit more. And 30 were found guilty. Okay, I'm just going to be a little bit empathetic.
Yeah.
I thought it was a lot more than 30 people that got accused of being
Well, the
witches.
interesting thing about, I mean, Salem is so huge in here in the States, but
Okay, I guess
in
back then it was a
reference-
smaller town.
Oh well, absolutely. That's the
Yeah.
whole town pretty much. Well, that's the thing is that you have these small social circles, and there's this.
Can we look up how they killed the witches or how the trial looked?
A lot of them are hangings.
I thought they did the. Is that an old wives' tale? Because I think they used to the whole rock to the foot, throw them in the lake thing.
But as far as in Europe and countries overseas, this was a thing for a long time, and a lot of people. had to
One
deal with
child
this.
was pressed to death. What the heck does that mean?
No, it wasn't child. It was the guy. It was
19 of the accused were executed by hanging, and one child was pressed to death.
Yeah, but no, it wasn't a child. It was Corey Giles. Was that his name?
It says child. I don't
Yeah.
believe everything Google says, but can we look up the child who was pressed to death?
Because they were interrogating him. So yeah, have you heard of this? You haven't heard of this?
No.
So essentially, he lays down on a board. They put another board on top of him, and then they just slowly put more and
Giles
more rocks.
Corey was the
Giles
only
Corey,
person.
yeah.
Giles Corey was the only person. I missed where that was. Keep going down a little bit, maybe. The notorious felons, which openly be evil name. Blah blah blah. Can you go back, maybe, because it pulled that little spot. Giles Corey was the only person in 1692 to be executed by being pressed to death by heavy stones. The practice of pressing the accused with heavy weights until they enter a plea is known as a peine forte et douleur, which translates to strong and hard pain. Whoa. Was accused of witchcraft and refused to enter a plea at his trial.
Yeah.
The
He
court
said no.
applied the coercive. So he said he did enter a plea. They just didn't like his plea.
Coolest thing about him. Read the next sentence there.
Okay, so court applied the coercive measure of peine forte et douleur to try to force Corey to enter a plea. Corey's last words before death were "more weight," which was an attempt to speed up his death and show he would not go to trial even if he was about to die. Hell yeah. So no one died. So it said 19 were hung, 1 was pressed. We were still missing 10 because 30 were found guilty. There were 10 spared.
A lot of them weren't. Yeah,
10 were spared?
At a point, they were just like, "We're
So
done."
no one was thrown to a bottom of a lake with a stone tied to them? Can we look that up specifically?
I'm not sure. Honestly.
I've heard that so many times.
I think that was more of
I
like.
thought that was their main way of doing it. I thought it was hundreds of people. I thought it was a daily occurrence.
I think that was more like posse justice.
it was like, hey, we're making our way to work. Oh, they're drowning
Yes.
another witch.
Yeah, well, I don't think it was like done by the trial of court. I think that was more like people.
Common? Okay, so drowning was a common. Okay, so so these are the unofficial.
Yeah, just posses.
Drowning was a common method of execution for convicted witches. However, the prosecutors in the American colonies generally preferred hanging. Okay, so the prosecutors enjoyed the hanging. The townspeople were like, put her in the bottom of the lake. Witch trials were a series of hearings and prosecutions. People wanted it done a little bit more quickly. The ordeal by water was associated with witch hunts of the 16th and 17th. That sounds a lot less organized. Yeah. In this ordeal, if the accused sank, they were considered innocent, whereas if they floated, they were indicated to be witches. I'm sad that that's true.
Who taught you how to swim?
But exactly.
The devil?
Who taught you to untie that stone from your foot? But what an awful thing. List of people who were executed. Before 1323, there was somebody in Greece. Oh, so this has been happening all over the world.
So that's what I was saying. So for the U.S., we had a very short stint of it, and it was small on the scale.
But
so this was happening all over for a long time.
Okay, but can I defend?
Woo.
Wait, confess to have been. Wait, okay, we'll get to that. Can I bring up the fact that all of these time frames though were of a time where maybe it was a little bit more understandable to think everyone was a witch? We're still scrolling and we have not gotten to the point where we thought people were witches.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Which was way longer on in history. Just all these people are figuring it out.
The folklore and the magical beliefs these people had were so real.
Connecticut colony. So it was the first one in America. The first person recorded to have been executed for witchcraft in the American colonies was hanged. His name was Alcee Young. It sounds like a guy. Margaret, Mary. Is Alcee a woman or a man? Alice, Ms., Elizabeth, Jean, Mitchie.
A lot of them are women.
Yeah, they have to be. Because aren't warlocks? Isn't that a man? I don't know if you could have been Ursula is definitely a witch. Ursula, accused of being a witch, tried, found guilty of poisoning her husband of 3 weeks, known as the White Witch. Okay, so she murdered her 3 people.
That's different. Yeah, she essentially was a witch.
Why is she on this list? Beheaded for abducting children. Beheaded for sorcery. What did Britta make happen? Wait. Zippel in Sweden beheaded for abducting children on, that sounds a lot like Hansel and Gretel type story origins.
Ooh. Were they sisters?
Britta and Anna?
They died the same year. One for sorcery, one for abducting
Anna,
children.
also spelled as Sipel, was an alleged Swedish witch. Swedish witch.
Swedish fish?
Hello, come on, I'm a witch. The most famous ones of the Katrina witch trials in Stockholm during the Swedish mania from 1668 to 1676. She was called the Queen of Blackula. And together with her sister,
Britta.
And then it cuts off. There's more.
Go to Britta.
Yeah, can you click on it real quick? There's more. If you click on it, it's like grayed out. Together with her sister Britta and her friend and business partner Anna, got in on the business. She was the first woman in Stockholm to be accused of abducting children to witches. So she was abducting the children for the witch's Sabbath. So it sounds like the other sister was the witch, and she was the one finding the children.
And at this point, I mean,
this is a crazy time to be alive.
Actual groups of people that would get together and actually worship these things.
Whoa, what? And worship the witches?
Like the Wiccan cults and stuff like that. I mean, they had worship entities.
Let's talk about before social media, though. This is even before a light.
Yeah.
And someone's going around saying, hey, these women are casting. Wow, what happened? That's Massachusetts. Look at America. Yeah. We just took. Look at America.
We just did it all at once.
Man, we went nuts.
John Proctor, Sarah Good.
Oh, there's go back to John Proctor. That's a dude. John Willard up top.
Yeah. Did you read The Crucible?
No.
You didn't do The Crucible in school?
No, I've read Of Mice and Men. That was the only book I ever read.
Sean, did you do The Crucible? Really?
John Willard Popper or John Proctor popular?
John Proctor was, I believe, the father of one of these.
He and his wife Elizabeth were tried and convicted of witchcraft as part of the Salem witch trials, whereupon he was hanged.
He was one of the main pillars of the town. I forget exactly.
He said he was it said in the first line he was the landowner where they were at.
Yeah,
so maybe he was accused for housing the witches.
I forget specifically what it was.
This is sad. But Italy was still. How long does this go on? When's the latest witch?
Way more recent than you would think.
1800s, 2011.
Yeah, no, it keeps happening. Yeah, keep going down.
Wait, well, okay, so this is South Africa, Ghana, Saudi Arabia,
2 years ago.
South Africa in 2021, someone was brutally beaten and buried alive. Oh my God. Public execution. Okay, go to the Saudi Arabia one. What's their story? Was it? Page does not exist. Okay. Man, not even worth it.
Whitewashing history.
Was a Ghanaian woman who was burned to death on suspicion of being a witch in 2010. Oh my God. This got a lot deeper. This is still going on. At a much less.
Pastor Samuel Fletcher was visited by Sister Amelia. We saw him in his sister's bedroom.
You got to read it so people can hear you.
Segoe raised an alarm which attracted the attention of Samuel Gunay and others in the neighborhood, according to Mr. Augustine Guianing, Assistant Commissioner of Police. Hema was purported to be a witch. Hema was then allegedly turned into confession of witchcraft by a group of 5 people. It's so crazy.
Just because you were being accused, at which point they allegedly attempted to exorcise the evil spirit by dousing her in kerosene. And then eventually setting her on fire. Oh, my God. I can't keep reading. That's recent. These are people who have the internet that understand we don't have people being possessed by. And even if you want to believe that.
People still do believe that.
We don't have to burn them. And maybe there was just stuff that went unrecorded. Because now, of course, I mean, yeah, it's sad that it's recent, but it's only been 6 times now in recent times, but 6 times too many. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Holy cow. So back into the whole spiritual side of things. What do you think was actually going on back then? Do you think there was actually any spiritual movement happening? Was there dark spirits? Was there real cause for concern maybe? Or is it just a bunch of he said, she said with lack of internet?
I think there's a couple forms of it. I think people were a lot more gullible back then. I mean, there's a lot less going on, a lot easier to believe in things like that.
We're still learning things.
Still learning things. People still believe. I mean, we just spent 20 minutes talking about Bigfoot and things like that. You know what I mean? People still want to buy into these things. I think it's a natural inclination to want to believe in something, you know, a little bit more powerful than us.
You had a question earlier, by the way.
We're going to get back to it.
Okay.
But so I think that, and then there's just this form of mass hysteria as well. So mass hysteria is something that, you know, happens to people before they even realize it's happening. Salem witch essentially is a good form of mass hysteria, where
or like a
secluded social group can talk themselves into believing something absolutely incredible, and then you have some people come maybe from out of town that are like, "What the F is going on right now?" And a few people step back and they're like, "Oh wow, we're crazy."
Yeah.
So like it's easy for people to talk themselves into in secluded social groups like that. And then you think of like cults and things like that, and they believe these.
You are who you're with, and
absolutely.
Sean and I just talked about this yesterday. Sean, we're talking about Tony Robbins, how he does his events. Mm-hmm. Now it's funny. Tony Robbins has been on now 4 of the podcasts I listen to.
Okay.
So in him doing this whole podcast tour, I'm like, I wonder if I'm in his main demographic. I might be.
Let's get him in here.
Yeah. Oh, no. He's the most famous person in the world. I do Ed Milat, who's his neighbor. I know Ed Milat. I've met him once.
We talked about that. I love Ed.
He runs his events. Love him, hate him, whatever. 8 to 12-hour days, 4 to 5 day events. He says they have to be indoctrinated, and it's a part of. He has this whole science. He's been doing this since the 80s, 90s. It's around neuro-linguistic programming, which is called NLPs, which is absolutely science. I've delved into it. I'm not a master at it, but I know of it. And NLPs are a way of programming the brain and how the brain functions and how it programs things and how it ultimately formats the habits that format your life. And he works with those things he knows scientifically and are proven to indoctrinate people in those habit-breaking activities so that it's not walk into a motivational event, 1 to 2 days, maybe even 3, couple hours in between, and then you're motivated and you come back and ultimately nothing happens within a week or 2, whereas these people go through actual legitimate change because they're indoctrinated in it. It's and he brings up a good point when he talks about it. He's like, if you want to learn Spanish, right, I'm not going to hand you an app. I'm not going to get you a tutor. I'm not going to do anything. Because if I do, it's going to be years. Yeah. And even then, you're only going to speak on a comfortable American level of Spanish.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is if you really need to learn Spanish, I'm putting you on my planes. I'm sending you to a place that only speaks Spanish. Yes. I'm taking your phone from you, and I'm coming to pick you back up in 60 days. And you're going to speak fluent Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
I heard Tony's voice. That was, wow. What a difference in those 2 voices.
He's not a woman.
He is not a woman.
And I would love to look into that further because I 100% love that theory of implementing change.
Yeah, and it brings up like, and through those 4 days, he's not allowing the person's brain to have the subconscious opportunity to go back to or even think about those habitual activities that are normal. You do something different for 4 days in a row without even thinking about the other thing. It's like, he's like, it's almost rewiring the brain.
So motivation is so fleeting. And one thing I think Tony hits on a lot, and a lot of these people do, but Tony is always talking about, is discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline, I think one of his quotes is, there's a bridge between where you see yourself and where you are now, and that bridge is discipline. So you can have all the motivation in the world if you're not keeping yourself to the things that you know you need to be doing, you're never going to achieve your goals. And he talks, I just had this in my mind. Fill time for 10 seconds while I think.
There once was a sailor who sailed on the seas. He sailed for his family. He sailed for
The
their
trees.
needs. No, their needs, not the trees.
The needs.
He sailed for the trees?
But so he goes, one of his big things is you cannot have discipline. You need to be disciplined.
It needs to be a part of who you are.
It needs to be, you
Needs to
need
be a
to
lifestyle.
become disciplined. Yes, exactly. And we talk, me and you have our conversations a lot about the things that need to be done to achieve the goals that we have. And it's so easy. And it actually brings me into one thing I have noted that I wanted to talk to you about is dealing with stress and dealing with, just the weight of, things that you need to get done, to-do lists, daily things, and the discipline of achieving, or the weight of achieving the things that you want to achieve, right? So discipline falls down onto that. But dealing with the stress of, like, for me personally, and we both do these podcasts and we listen to these motivational speeches, right? Something we both talked about doing in the mornings and then a free time. A big thing for me is the more I get into this and the more that I motivate myself and I work on my discipline, any moment spent not working towards something, I feel like I have this anxiety about. So it's like, the gap widens in free time. And dealing with that has been an issue for me back and forth, because it's something along the lines of, you set these goals for yourself and you understand that it is determination, it's discipline, it's constant work. But at the same time, like if you commit yourself to that fully, there's a weight that you carry.
Can I put it in a way that made sense to me when I heard it?
Yeah.
Because I think business and the way we run life can oftentimes be equated. Life can oftentimes be equated to two different things: business and health and fitness. It's very easy to understand that you're not going to walk into a gym fat, lazy, unmotivated, and then walk out in better shape, more motivated, ready to go. It's not how it works.
Yeah.
You go there 30 days, though, and you're going to start to see a difference. You go there 90 days, people are going to start telling you they see the difference. You do it for 180 days, you're a whole different person. Right? But that first day, we all understand, no real difference. The thing that comes, though, with working out and the thing that comes with health is you understand that if you're in the gym, you're only going to get results if you give a dedicated hour and a half and then support it with everything else you need to do.
Yeah.
Diet, sleep schedule, rest. In chasing after a goal, we have to organize it in a similar fashion. I'm a firework. I'm highest and best use 4 to 5 hours a day, and I understand that.
Yeah.
And there was a time where I would push myself a lot harder because I would feel bad having not being able to put out a 9-hour day doing that, or even an 8-hour day doing that. And so what I've done is I've actually shortened my time frames to 3 to 4 hours of needed spurts within a day.
Okay.
And then the rest of the day is spent understanding I'm going to do it again tomorrow, and I'm going to do it again tomorrow, and I'm going to do it again tomorrow, and I'm going to do it. And if I put in a day that needs 8-9 hours, I have to understand I have to, on the back end, on that next day, understand I'm not going to have the 3 to 4 hours I expect in my tank. And if I'm not also supporting that with diet and a proper sleep schedule, I'm not going to have that. Because then I'm going to, in the gym, I'm going to show up, I'm not going to be ready to work out. And then what's the use of even showing up to the gym? Why even show up to the office? Why even show up for your goal if you're not going to have the energy to give toward it?
Yes.
And if you don't rest, both your body and mind, I think your mind even more so when you're going after goals in your body more so in the gym, brain more so going after the goal, you have to rest. And if you're addicted to stress, rest will feel like pain. So you got to format it all into the same block of I'm going after this, and rest is a part of that formula.
Yeah.
I have to accept it as part of the formula. Otherwise, I'm going to grind myself to the point where I'm not going to get close to this.
I think that term addicted to stress hits a lot of people, to the core where, like I was saying, you get to this point, especially for the people that, have the determination and the discipline to do what they want to do, and they set their mind to it and they stay with it. And I think, getting to that point where not being all right or not being okay with, the point of progress, it becomes addicting.
Yeah, it does. It does become addicting. It becomes your body's feeling something so long, so often, so consistently.
Yeah.
We know it only takes 21 days the body to start to form a habit, 60 days or so to lock it in.
Yeah.
So if you've been stressing for the past 10 years, you may view it as a negative, but your body quite honestly views it as the most comfortable place to live.
Yeah.
And it's going to feel painful to fight that.
Yeah.
Because it's what your body's always known.
I like that idea of the big picture, and I think that's something to keep in mind. Most importantly, I think it's Arnold has this quote where
Schwarzenegger. Stay firm.
He talks about
Neighbor.
He's like, his thing is like, if you don't have 45 minutes to an hour a day to better yourself, why are you doing it? Or you're lying to yourself in the sense of like, if you can't find that time every day, that's ridiculous. So he breaks down the day. You have all this time in the day, yada, yada. But essentially his point is, if you can put 45 minutes to an hour a day into something, whether it's physical activity, learning, better yourself in any way, at the end of the year, you have 365 hours.
Can I tell you the problem, though?
Yeah.
People take a day off.
Yes.
The problem is, and I do this too, I take a day off. That's the biggest issue, because you're right. People want to do it one of two ways, and they fail one of these two ways. They either try to do too much too quick and overdo it and burn out. They don't have enough knowledge of how to sustain this much change in their life at once.
Yeah.
They go to the gym 7 days a week from one, and all of a sudden they're burnt out. They get hurt. They don't know what they're doing. Something happens.
Yeah.
Or you try to do it and you skip a day within that habit-forming range. You get to like day 6 of waking up early, and all of a sudden that bed's warmer. Like you get to day 12 of eating right, and all of a sudden the cheeseburgers look good, and all it takes is one cheat meal. I can't stand giving in within that habit-forming 21 days. It's not, and people encourage it too. Oh, have a cheat meal, have it. Hun, you just got in the gym last week. It's not time for a cheat meal. And that's where the discipline, I think, shifts up, because you don't need to hold that level of intensity for forever. But there has to be a moment where you stop giving excuses. There has to be the moment where the reality finally weighs more than the story you've been telling yourself.
Well, and then that's the goal, finding the balance between that mentality and the mentality of...
But I don't think it's a balance.
I don't think the balance exists.
What do you mean?
I think it's either you're deeply deranged...
What do you mean?
Towards your goal.
Sure.
Where, we talked about being addicted to stress, being addicted to the unsatisfaction of where you are, or you are comfortable within those, take a day off.
I don't know if it has to be an addiction to be successful.
I wouldn't say it has to be an addiction to be
I don't think it has
successful.
to be one or two.
Yeah.
But I think there's middles.
Most
that
of
are
the
very
people
successful.
we see that reach those heights, I don't think that genuinely they have that work-life balance, or they have that rest to active balance.
Sure. And to be clear, I walk in this office 7:30 to 8:30 every morning, including Saturdays, and walk out between 5:30 and 6:30 every day, except Saturdays. That's usually back closer to lunch.
Yeah.
Every week, I'm here working.
Yeah.
Every day, I'm working. The balance, if you look at my time spent, looks very overwhelmingly favored one direction. Where I find myself failing and where I'm continually improving myself right now is in my quality of time spent where I'm at.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to have an 8-hour day with 2 hours of production at work. And it's very easy to have a weekend with family where you're indoctrinated in your thoughts about work and other things you're stressing about.
Yeah.
And then you get back to work on Monday and you feel bad because you didn't give your time to your family over the weekend, and now you miss them, and now you're clocked out from work. And I don't think it's a balance. I think it's literally just becoming the one discipline that encompasses all of it is if you can encompass this thought process of living in the moment. And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's really, really difficult. And I remember hearing it for the first time, actually legitimately thinking that was stupid, that's impossible. Like, your thoughts are always moving. There's always something going. And what I've slowly had to figure out through 25, 26, now 30 is I had an addiction to my body either stressing about the future, being anxious about the future, or overthinking about the past and trying to overcorrect and think of how I can be better.
Yeah.
And I never lived in the moment. And I had to train myself through meditation, daily practices, which I'm still getting better at and still learning, breathing exercises and thought and different mantras throughout the day. And it's truly increasing my happiness.
It's working on
truly
focus.
Increasing my focus, my productivity level, both my productivity as a dad and as a husband, as much as an entrepreneur and business owner. So I think it encompasses everything. I'm more focused at the gym. I'm more focused when I'm making decisions about what I'm going to eat. I'm more in tune with my financial decision making because I'm more in the moment. I'm not locked into the stress and the cortisol running through my blood of what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yes.
Well, the Bible says, let tomorrow worry about itself.
Yeah.
And then I'm not constantly rethinking what I already did in the past because tomorrow's already done. It doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. There's now. And I think that's the discipline. And there is no balance. There's just that discipline.
So getting into specifically, so for a lot of people that may not know, your background and your path that you took to get to here, you've
Sweating.
Yeah, it is a little warm. I took my jacket off. So for you,
Still have a hoodie.
Yeah, I like layers.
I love it.
I love layers. So for you and your story and your path to where you are now, you took a lot of different detours. You did a lot of different things, right? Not all successful. And what do you think was the biggest, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like what was the spark that kind of got you into the spot that you are now? What got you into the mindset of what you just talked about, working on these things, mindfulness, the meditation, to work on your focus, work on your balance, work on your motivation, and find the success that you now have after all the experiences you did go through?
December 15th, 2021
was
the date on the calendar where I decided something within my life. And what I decided ultimately culminates in stop believing this story I've been telling myself. I'm going to stop lying to myself. I'm going to stop lying to others. I'm going to stop dramatizing. I'm going to stop trying to create something within my mind that I'm not, in a good sense and a bad. I'm going to stop lying to myself that I'm a bad person. Yeah. I'm going to stop telling myself that I'm not worth this. I'm going to stop putting off the things that I know are going to better me just because I want to feel a little comfort. Yeah. And that's the art, really, of being in the now, of doing the best thing I can do in that moment. And what sparked it was quite honestly getting reintroduced to a man by the name of Tim Grover. I got reintroduced to him because Tim Grover was the personal trainer for Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, Russell Wilson, Dwayne Wade.
Wow.
Big names.
Okay.
Private personal trainer. You never know who he's training until they retire. So, yeah. So he keeps on the low. He's extremely
Ryan
locked
Grover.
in and smart. Tim Grover.
Got
to meet him, shake his hand, do the whole deal. I got to meet him. But he was speaking at an event, and I got reintroduced to him. And I was like, oh, my God. This guy that I followed as a kid, I got reintroduced to. I didn't know he had a book. Or, I'm sorry. I knew he had a book, and I hadn't read the book. And so I was like, oh, this guy that I knew. So I dove deep into him. And his books, reading them both, sent me into a depression. Good 2 months, worst mental state I've been in from October 2021 to about December 2021. And it was because of self-reflection. And I had refused up until that point, I believe, to take the blame away from anyone else and move it towards me. Yeah. I wasn't I thought I was, but I hadn't fully given into the idea that I am self-made. Yeah. I'm here because of me. I can fix it. I can sit in the shit, or I can do something about it. And I decided to at first fix it and then do something about it. And I took those 2 months to be reflective. And one thing that Tim Grover mentions, and this is what really opened up the eventual depression, was being in your dark places. Yeah. And speaking with the parts of your mind that oftentimes you ignore because you think it's bad, you think it's wrong, or you think you're a bad person, and working on those areas of your life, facing those conversations in your head, speaking with those prior versions of you who maybe you haven't fully mourned the death of, because that's one thing people don't talk about in self-development is you literally have to mourn the past version of yourself. Yeah. You have to go to so many of your own funerals. It becomes tough. And you have to give up things that for so many parts of your life, oftentimes getting harder because of the things you've held on to for the longest.
Oh, yeah.
You have to get rid of for the greater good of usually the people around you.
Yeah.
And so I started being more selfless while being selfish.
Yeah.
Selfishly working on myself so I can be better for everyone else. Simply put, though, from December 15th to then January 21st, I went to the physical event, and I actually spoke at that event. And the whole time had the imposter syndrome of here I am having a mental, just not breakdown, but just dilemma of who I am and what I'm doing. And that was the last time I spoke. I didn't take another stage speaking gig after that. And I made a post on Instagram saying, this is the last time you're going to see me here for a while. I said, I'm different. Like if you're going to meet me, if you haven't seen me in the past couple months and you meet me tomorrow, you're going to see someone different. If we don't hang out for a while, it's not purposeful, but don't hate me if I'm not the same guy.
Yeah.
And I dove deep into me. I dove deep into my physical health. I lost a lot of weight. I grew my hair out for a little bit. I really was allowing myself to not worry about within reason what people thought.
Yeah.
And get myself where I needed to be. And I'm still working on that as we sit here today. But that was the spark that began that journey. And I've been trying to get as many other people around me involved as I can. But I know there's a future where that's at a greater scale. So I'm not trying to push it too heavy. I need to work on me. And so I can be a sufficient light for a lot of people later in life who need help, who don't have that spark and are sitting here listening to this like, man, I wish I had that moment where I had that spark. But I could just send out the word that it's there. If you're searching for it, you just got to keep going.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people misconstrue discomfort with progress, right? Because progress always kind of comes with discomfort. And I think when you talk about, so Hermosi has that one quote.
Alex Hermosi.
Yeah, he has the quote where he says, if you're going to become successful, you're going to be lonely. I'm paraphrasing here, but
in a sense.
He talks about, I'm tapping it, sorry. He talks about that process of becoming a different person. You talk about the death of the past personalities and stuff like that. And a lot of those dark places, a lot of those non-productive places are linked to comfort, and Goggins talks about that and getting rid of the comfort and like you said, getting dark places, embracing the suck. But I think the biggest thing that a lot of people have to get over is getting used to that loneliness, getting used to that discomfort of the process of changing your personality, of changing your day-to-day activity, of letting the people go.
I changed it. That's what it was. I'm getting giddy with you saying it. Wow. That's what it was. I love that. I love discomfort.
Yeah.
I love being uncomfortable. That was my switch. I'm not sitting on the couch. I don't, just theoretically speaking in my brain.
Yeah.
I'm looking for stuff I don't like.
Yes.
And I shifted my mindset around that. I'm chasing it instead of avoiding it. In a way, like the cold plunges, the gym, reading, watching a motivational video instead of listening to music, listening to a book instead of listening to music, like all that stuff I do not like to do. And doing it anyway. Like that was it. So I want to change my answer. Sorry.
I love it. It can be both, too.
I had to. I felt it in me. Like as you were saying, I was like, wait, that's it.
Well, and I think
at least a piece of it.
It circles back to motivation and discipline as two separate things, right? Like I got motivation when I first read Can't Hurt Me. And that was at a very...
David Goggins book.
Yes. That was at a very crossroads point of my life. And it spoke so deeply to me in the sense of laying out the groundwork of change, laying out the groundwork of self-understanding, of analysis. But that's motivation. If you don't do it, you're not doing anything. If you just read it and you have that knowledge, that's great. You can be motivated all day to do it. But if you don't wake up at 5:30 in the morning, if you don't get out of that shower and turn it cold or get in your ice bath or do something that sucks, instead, like you said, instead of watching TV, you read the book. Instead of, taking that hour off, you do something. Let's
simplify right there. That can be, because I want to be very clear. Like the first step isn't jumping into the flames.
Yeah.
The real first step is just getting off ice, because I feel a lot of people feel stuck where they're at. Mm-hmm. I can't move type deal. I've been doing this for so long.
Yeah.
Get off ice first. If you've ever been really, really cold and got introduced to even lukewarm water, it burns.
Yeah.
It really burns.
Yeah.
So don't go crazy. If you're overweight, get to the gym once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Go on a walk. Instead of watching TV, just sit there with a TV off and journal. Get up 30 minutes early to go sit on the porch and let the sun hit your face. I fell on my face way too many times trying to jump off the cliff.
Yeah.
Instead, when there are stairs,
Mm-hmm.
and they're long, but they're walkable. It is a step-by-step journey to get there.
Yeah.
The ice plunges are there too, though. You can do that. You can just jump right in. That's something also that's not even proven. There's definitely studies and hypotheses and theories that support it, but ultimately, when my brain was in there, and I did it for the fact that I knew I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I 100%. And if there weren't exposed nails sitting next to it right now, I need to get them out so I can do it more right now because it's cold. And I'm walking outside, and my brain's literally like, get in the cold water.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sick. My brain's sick at this point, but sick in a great way because it's what I want. But it didn't start there.
Well, it's something about doing the less attractive option, right? Where you got to break it into the before and after mindset. So before, when you're making the decision and you say, I can either sit here for an hour and watch TV, which usually turns into 3 or 4, right? Or I can, like you said, journal, read a book, maybe even just draw a little bit, or just get up, move around, do a little bit of cleaning, go on a walk, stuff like that. And it's like, at the end of the day, I try to keep this in mind whenever I'm making decisions. The level of crap that I feel after 3 hours of TV compared to the level of just like self-worth and confidence and happiness that I have after a chapter in a book. You know what I mean? The difference there, like every single morning I wake up, I take my shower, I give myself 5 minutes of nice hot water, I wash, right? Every single morning I end my shower as cold as possible. And never once have I woken up looking forward to that. Never, ever, ever. Never do I understand this is going to be great. I'm going to have energy afterwards. I'm going to be so much more. My brain's going to be ready for the day. Never in my mind do I look forward to that. But after you get out, every time, amazing.
It's guaranteed.
Amazing.
It's guaranteed.
And there's so much power in doing the less attractive option.
And everyone wants to be happy, yet we're not chasing the things that guarantee it.
Because it sucks. Because it's hard.
There's a little bit of pain that always comes through. They say on the other side of fear is satisfaction, but that's true. But there's so much happiness and, like you said, fulfillment on the other side of just doing something that you don't have to do. No one's telling you to do, and you're doing it just for the sake of you and bettering yourself. I love that. Let's wrap the conversation there, dude. Where can people follow you at?
I'm josh.loft on Instagram.
And TikTok.
And
Grotto's just shared your video this morning.
Grotto's with the shout out
You're
today.
a local celebrity.
Yeah.
So let's give a quick shout out to Grotto's, the best pizza.
The best pizza.
Franchise at the very least.
I mean, the Northeast region.
I mean, 20 locations across, 3 states, 4 states?
A lot.
A lot of states.
That's all I know.
There's a lot of states.
They do good. It's a good business.
They do good.
And they have a great environment.
They do.
They're welcoming to all.
They are welcoming to all.
Yeah.
And they have great wings.
Maybe not to Pat after last night.
That, I think they got a picture of his mugshot, like, don't let this man eat any of our pizza. He said it was terrible.
No, Pat, we love you.
I love the
Grotto's.
Shout out Grotto's for sharing the multi-view video.
That was amazing.
Yeah, because Pat was sitting here bagging on it, but us three, I think we won. The majority was in their favor.
Yeah. Controversy always wins.
And I think we're all in agreement. It's not 10-10 pizza. It's just really good pizza.
But it's Grotto's pizza.
And it's a whole ass restaurant. Like they got good burgers and wings. You can go there see a game. You can parlay.
All right, we're going to end it on a clip opportunity here.
Clip opportunity. For you. All right, go for it. Clip opportunity question.
What is the worst thing, completely objective, take worst however you want it to be. What is the worst thing you've ever experienced in real estate?
The worst thing I ever experienced in real estate was when I had a younger couple begin working with me to buy a house. It was their first home. This is back when homes were like $180,000, all right? 180, 220. So they were looking around. They had a pre-approval for like 180, could not quite find anything what they wanted. Ended up taking a break. 2 months or so later, it was cold. I don't remember if it was December, but it was 2 months later. He gives me a call back. He says he's looking to buy now, but now he's up to 250 and it's cash. And I was like, oh. And all right, so we go out to see these new properties. 250 unlocks a lot of doors at that time.
Yeah.
And this is like 2018. We get the first property, him and this girl, love it. And they're like, we're going to put in an offer. Wasn't the same girl as the first time, though. And he was married before.
Oh.
No more ring. 45 days later, we close on the home. Full cash. Never hear from the wife ever. I have no clue what happened, but it made me very uncomfy to get my commission check. I'll tell you that much. I'm like, this money cashes in the bank all the same, but I do not want to know what's going on, how this happened. Maybe they just separated and the uncle gave him some, hey, I feel bad for you, bud, money. But it was a quick time frame for all of that to happen. New girl moving in, cash on hand.
How often do you think about that? Because you were immediately ready to talk about that.
Often. I want to pull up to the house and just say, hey, dude, what happened there? Like, it's been 5 years. Can we talk about this? If you're listening right now, dude, tell me, Anthony. No, his name's not Anthony.